I'm very pleased that you had come to Lisbon to join us in this very interesting and interdisciplinary meeting about sustainable finance. I'm pleased to also give my best regards to Isabel Cantista, who is director of the Faculty of Economic and Management Science in Oporto, and Professor Alva Matias, who is director of the faculty in Lisbon. And I am Luís Valadares Tavares. I'm the director of Comegi. What is Comegi? I'm pleased to share with you a few thoughts about that. Comegi is a research center. This university, and I think this is interesting for all the colleagues who came from other countries, this university was born about more than 30 years ago, and was born very much as a teaching university. At that time, Portugal was facing a very, very strong crisis of lack of opportunities for university students. And so this university started very much with that mission. But that evolved, and nowadays, last 10, 20 years, has become a university very much focusing on research activities. So it's a research university. This change is a difficult change, and sometimes even people in charge of faculties don't understand very well how the research centers are managed, what are their missions, how can they work together. But I think Comegi is a very interesting project. We started just about 5 years ago, and we got a very good appraisal from the National Board on Science and Technology Research. And we have a very unique structure and nature, because we are not like many other research centers on management. We are a research center with 3 campuses. So we have a group here in Lisbon, another in Oporto. Oporto is led by Isabel Cantista, and another in Famalicão. Famalicão is a small but very interesting industrial town in the north of Portugal, focusing on technology, industry, and so on. And our center is connected with all these faculties, with the Faculty of Management in Lisbon, with the Faculty of Law, also here in Lisbon, with Faculty of Management in Oporto, and with the Faculty of Engineering in Famalicão. So our management model has been praised by very independent and authoritative institutions. Why? Because we can keep this networking nature, and we are very flexible. So we have monthly meetings where we adjust our plans and our activities to opportunities and to new challenges. So we believe that it's a very interesting project, also in terms of management. Of course, some people don't understand, some people have a more traditional culture, sometimes there are criticisms, but that's very good, because we believe that they are always useful so that we can improve and achieve better targets. So we have different areas of research, but we are always focusing on the macro dimension and also the micro dimension. For instance, the case of this conference is very interesting. If you look at the program, you see we have some papers, some contributions, very much at the level of the company. For instance, we have a very interesting contribution of a company who solved their energy problems by very specific strategies and decisions. But we are also concerning the macro perspective. For instance, we have here in Lisbon a group I'm leading on public procurement, public systems, and we publish and obtain very interesting results at very macro level. So we have this both dimensions, which are not very usual. If you look at the research centers, usually they concentrate more on a very specific level, macro or micro. But we have both dimensions. Also, we have different topics. I'm not going to bother you with that. We have a good site with all that data information. But we are always concerning with a few, let's say, cross research projects topics. And one of them is sustainability. So you find this concern in all our research projects. The other is digital systems, digital contacts, including artificial intelligence. We had here a few months ago a very interesting conference on artificial intelligence. And also another third dimension that for us is always very important, and we are always coping with that, is the human dimension. So we are not interested to achieve results ignoring the human actor. The human actor is very important. For instance, in the case of Famalicão, we are having a very interesting project on development of research with Brazilian colleagues exactly on how we can cope technology with human factor, how we can apply better new instruments from technology, taking care of the human reaction, human perspectives. We have a lab, exactly, which is called NeuroDec, exactly to measure, to understand better the behaviors and the decision-making of the participants. So I think it's very important to have this activity. This activity, as you know, in Portugal we say that behind an important event there is always a lady. In this case, the lady is Isabel Cantista, who has done all the work, all the initiatives, so all the credits should be given to Isabel. But it's also important to underline the following. We are a very open research center, so we don't have walls. If you go to my office, which is a few meters from here, it has no walls, it has glass. So we can see one another. We don't have walls, and we are very open to any opportunity. For instance, we have here a colleague from Spain who a few months ago contacted me and say, I would like to work with you. And I said, yes, come on, you are welcome. So we are very open to any initiative. We don't answer to you, well, next year we think about it. No, next week we think about it. So any of you, if you find an interesting opportunity of cooperation, it can be the participation in a research project. For instance, at this moment, we are, after this meeting, I will be just finishing up an application for a research project including Estonia, Lithuania, and another European country. It's useful, it's interesting. We are very interested, we are eager to be more active in the European field, in the European landscape. So that's why also we welcome in a very special way our colleague from ISPRA, which is very famous and huge research center near a very beautiful area, which is Lago di Como? Lago Maggiore. It's also another like. Okay, so we are eager to do that, but we have other types of cooperation. For instance, we have PhD students joining different programs. For instance, we have PhD students from Technic. Technic is my previous university, is the best engineering university in Europe, IST. For instance, we have a PhD student involved in their PhD program and working with us. We have a similar situation with the Faculty of Economics of Oporto. We have with the University of Madrid, and so on. So we are very open to have, for instance, this type of research cooperation with different institutions, or just bilateral. Because it's important perhaps to mention that Portugal has many bilateral research programs with other countries, research agreements. For instance, at this moment, we are working in a possibility with Poland. We have a research agreement between Portugal and Poland, allowing some support to do joint research. So this is just a very brief introduction to tell you that COMEGI, you can go to the site and see more details, but we'll be very open, very interested to have this networking nature. Let's say we are a center with a very much networking center and nature. So we'll be very glad, very happy to have your contributions and to have your contacts. About the conference, I think you understood the idea. The idea is to cope with two dimensions which are very critical for the present world. The financing dimension, it means resources, and sustainability, how we can cope with that. For instance, we are doing another research which can be interesting to share with you about digital economy. Digital economy includes and impacts very much on financial systems, and it's a very unstable economy. If you look at the companies, for instance, digital companies are less stable than the manufacturing companies. And there are very interesting research questions about that. Why is that going like that? How can we compensate that? For instance, we had a huge digital Portuguese company with a very good position in US financial markets, and just a few months ago exploded, almost disappeared. So this sort of bubbling in the digital markets is intriguing and a very challenging nature. We are also doing some research on that, using theory of games and so on. My initial background is operational research and systems engineering. So this is just to share with you our concerns. I'm not going to take more time, but again, I'd like to thank very much all the work, all the activity, all the energy, all the commitment of Isabel Cantista, who is professor in Oporto. So if you have time, you should visit Oporto, which is a very nice city. And from my side, I will be very happy, very glad, very honored to have your comments and your contact. Thank you very much, Isabel.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Luis, for your introduction, and also for indefectible support to this conference, I should say. So good morning and welcome, esteemed members of the board of the Foundation, Minerva, colleagues from COMEGI, the Center of Research on Organizations, Markets and Industry Management, researchers and professionals, delegates of the Conference on Sustainable Finance, ladies and gentlemen. This is what happens when there is no energy. Everything stops. We as citizens do not want it to happen. And that is why we are here in presence and many people online at this conference. In all models of development, we need energy. But we are pursuing a positive model of development where the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals may be achieved, where energy will not be a problem and will lead us into a better quality of life. The Greek philosopher Aristotle would argue that only matters of the common good are right. Matters for the ruler's good are wrong, and therefore should not be protected or defended. The rights of citizens, the common good, should be at the core of our action. I truly believe on this. The 2030 Sustainable Development Goals have emerged in 2015 in an international context as a platform for understanding in quite a simple way, I should say, what the common good is. Within this context, innovation is key in every step of the way. Innovation only makes sense with a purpose. In a system of innovation, may it be national, regional, or sectorial, four main components stand up: education, business and technology, finance, politics, and regulation. As innovation researchers, such as Nelson and Winter, Niosi and Malera, and Lundvall, to name just a few, have highlighted, for innovation to happen, collaboration is needed. And all four components have not only to reflect on the best way to perform their mission, but also to take into account that they work as a system, being influenced and influencing the others. It is under this framework that sustainable finance has emerged as a key focus of research at COMEGI. Finance and accounting have deserved from inception at Lusíada University attention and care. During all these years, thousands of students have graduated did master and PhD theses on many different aspects of finance and accounting. To consider finance now within the system of innovation and the Sustainable Development Goals means that not only are we looking into the future, but we are pursuing innovation with a purpose for the future, for the common good that could be or should be at the heart of our commitment as a research center. Comegi has now more than 30 partnerships with different universities, national and internationally, which all have in common a strong commitment towards these goals. And Lusíada, as a university, an educational institution, has much more partnerships. If we consider all existing faculties in the 3 campuses, but partnerships without projects and working together mean nothing. This conference is a good example of what a partnership means to Comegi. It would never been possible without the collaboration of Theodore Kojoianu from the University of Edinburgh and member of the organizing committee. So our heartfelt thanks go to you, Theodore, once more, very esteemed professor and colleague, for your insights and generosity. At Comegi, we intend to promote this conference on a biannual basis, bringing together the finance international community to Lisbon. This conference aims at offering the opportunity for people to know each other, to discuss and reflect upon what has been done, with what results, and what direction should be considered for the future, what needs to be done. And in one of our last conversations, with Theodore, we were always talking about how much needs to be done. Therefore, I would like to invite you to register right now a possible date in the beginning of May 2026, and we would be delighted to welcome you once more. There is a lot to be done, and we shall start right now. I wish you all a very nice and productive day. May it enrich us all, not only in terms of knowledge, but also in the motivation to do, each one of us, something that will get us nearer to a sustainable model of social and economic development. Thank you so much.